Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, the Star Trek podcast. My name is Caitlin and with me today are...
Jake.
Chris.
Ames.
And we have a special guest.
Pat.
Hi, Pat.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the show, Pat.
It's Pat.
Awesome. All right.
We're already scaring our guest away.
Moving swiftly onward. We are here tonight for episode 115. And in a total change of pace, today we're going to discuss 2 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation.
What are we thinking?
I know.
Especially with these episodes.
Those episodes will be The Perfect Mate and Imaginary Friend. Double. In The Perfect Mate, is that how it's spelled? Because I always think it sounded like someone who was from Croatia.
Oh, no, it was Creosian.
Creosians. All right, so the Creotians are trying to make peace between themselves and the Valtese, like the Valtese Falcon. Sadly, no Humphrey Bogart, but basically they're trying to make peace, and to do that, they're going to have some new trade agreements, but also they're going to hand over the first metamorph in over 100 years born on Creos, or whatever. She's the first one in 7 generations in over 100 years. I don't feel like the generations work out there unless they, get pregnant when they're really young. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is...
over 100 years, right? So it could be any number.
Well, yeah, but, for 7 generations, you feel like it would be almost 200 years, wouldn't it? Because most don't...
Well, this episode's bad enough without bringing math into
it. The more we talk about math,
No.
the less we have to talk about the episode. Hey, listen, you just got here. You don't get to shush me during this summary.
I didn't shush you. I agreed with him.
I'll have you thrown out.
I'll just stay.
Well, it is her house. Fuck. Anyway, so they're gonna sell out this empathic metamorph to this crusty old dick face who cares more about trade agreements than he does about this perfect mate. What makes her the perfect mate, you might ask? Well, she is hot, but also she basically derives pleasure by finding out the way to help her partner in question derive the most pleasure. And currently she is in the 3rd stage of metamorphic evolution, and basically at the end of that 3rd stage she will have to settle on her mate and become the best woman for him, we guess. Obviously she wants to fuck everyone on the ship because being in this 3rd stage of metamorphic evolution, Ponfar, whatever, she's releasing lots of pheromones and just basically wants to fuck her way through everything, not unlike Tasha Yar.
I was thinking Mama Troy when she was going through menopause.
So for me, it was like, wow, and Data's her chaperone? Forget all these other guys. It's just bone down with Data. He's programmed in many, many, many different, styles of pleasure, whatever the fuck. What kind of...
But then there's the whole no emotional connection thing.
Butt stuff. She doesn't want an emotional connection.
She was one.
She was ready to bone down with 3 fucking hairy wolfmen and 10 forward.
And Riker.
Rim shot.
Yeah, but anytime Riker's in a room alone with any woman, something goes off.
His pants fall down.
Not this time, though. But we need to talk about that later, because alright, anyway, the point is, so this perfect mate who will become whatever you need her to be is on board, going to meet her boyfriend and future husband, and naturally she falls head over heels in love with Mary Sue, aka Patrick Stewart, and he somehow, through his sheer force of will, is able to withstand her charms, even though, everybody else on the ship is ready to, tear themselves limb from limb to bang her. So, of course, their love cannot be. Even when Patrick Stewart's, willpower is tested, when the ambassador to the Creosian people who is there to deliver her and, negotiate peace, even after he is fucking power slammed through a glass table by a couple of fucking Ferengi stooges.
Ferengi. So bad.
So Picard has to learn all of
xylophone music.
Yeah, the xylophone, and he needs to learn how to read the Torah in Hebrew. She helps him with his playing and his pronunciation. He still manages to keep it in his pants. I'm looking at you, Riker. No, who also managed to keep it in his pants, actually.
Barely.
Give.
It was peeking out the top.
Well, but to be fair, she also, full-on Frenched him, twice.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying,
With
like,
some
for
weird
him,
head-grabbing thing going on.
for him, that was pretty serious. Yeah, it almost looked like she was giving him umox.
That's what it
Maybe she could sense the Ferengi pining after her in the next room, and she's like, oh,
Maybe.
it looks like he likes umox.
That's what it looked like.
This is the best umox. I've never had umox like this. Anyway, she marries the other guy that doesn't care about her, and the world makes sense again. I have touched the sky.
Yes.
It was also terrible. I don't know if I mentioned. Speaking of terrible things, imaginary friend.
Ugh.
Clara Sutter is a newish addition to the Enterprise civilian population, and she has an imaginary friend named Isabella. And because of her imaginary friend, her father, who, even though he's living in the 24th century, apparently has never heard that imaginary friends are pretty normal shit for kids, sends her to see Counselor Troy, who's like, hi, memo from the 24th century, you fucking idiot, this is pretty normal for kids.
Even for Guinan. Guinan had an imaginary friend.
Yeah, but you sort of feel like Guinan could, like, will it into actual sentience, right?
That'd be great.
Somehow.
But Guinan is also, 200 years old or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
Possibly
More than
older.
that.
So then
She's
you're talking,
older than that.
so then you're talking previous century, so maybe,
I don't know. It was a galaxy far, far away long ago. Anyway, what looks like a LED lit Christmas light on a fishpole shows up and starts flying through shit and getting to know how it works, including flying through Clara's head, which she doesn't even fucking notice, which, I mean, that's...
She doesn't seem that bright.
No! Well, so Isabella manifests from this space ornament.
Isabella
Coast
and
to
her
coast.
resting bitch face manifest.
Dude, really? What is she, like 8 years old? I've never seen an angrier looking child in my whole fucking life. I feel like there's a Golden Girls episode where Rose is telling the story about this, like, neighbor who always had, like, a resting bitch face, and they all thought she was a witch, but it turned out she had no control of her facial muscles. So then the kids felt really bad.
That's when you wear a mask.
I feel like... That's when you become the Phantom of the Opera, apparently, according to Ames. But anyway, so Isabella becomes real, but it's not really Isabella. It's this space light thing, and she and Clara are having a fine old time until Clara's like, you're getting me in trouble, asshole. I'm not supposed to be on the bridge at 10 forward. Jeez. And the ghost's like, well, I don't fucking like you anymore, bitch, and I hope when they get here they kill you. And she's like, oh, noes. And it turns out that the light isn't on its own, but the day is saved when Clara realizes, like, maybe I just hurt its feelings, and if I tell it that I still love it, it won't kill us, and that works, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that basically it? That's all. That's all I got.
Yeah, great.
I got nothing else.
So long, everyone.
Which
Have a
for
good
me
night.
is pretty succinct. Yeah, really. We should just call it quits now. We've said everything important.
Perfect Mate is
Ugh.
one of the worst episodes in a long time.
Earlier,
This was-
I don't know what they were trying to say about women.
it was bad.
That the female
well, definitely they were
metamorph.
all liars, and once we get them married, we turn into someone else completely.
The female metamorph is like the incel dream. It's like, she'll become whatever I want her to.
You like my video games?
What's really sad is, like, you could have had an interesting story about this poor woman who, like, they realize is like, oh, she's got this weird, rare for women, because they do mention in an offhand way that, like,
lots of
male
men.
metamorphs are common,
Well, wait a
Yeah.
minute. What if this other guy would have been just as happy with a male metamorph?
right? They just assumed.
Yeah.
But
Not
maybe
very
that's the
What if he
reason.
wanted a man? Would she have to turn into a man?
I mean, it says she can become whatever he wants. You think that means she just spontaneously...
But I mean,
Boink.
he did seem more interested. He did say he was more interested in the trade agreements. Maybe that's why. Maybe he's
Wow.
like, he'd rather do
But
it.
she'd
What
have
a
to become
sad story.
she'd have to become a trade agreement.
Yeah, as soon as she gets there, she turns into a piece of paper.
He just uses it. Anyway,
Oh,
mean,
no.
really?
Gets some Jergens out and uses her to spank it, does he?
so,
Sorry,
Jesus.
space Jergens.
So instead of, you could have had this story about this woman who's, taken from her home at a super early age, lives this bizarre life, is convinced through basically just brainwashing that she wants all of this.
I don't even know if it's brainwashing because it's in her
DNA?
They
Yeah.
told her that, yes, but I kind of wonder if she hadn't been trained her whole life to believe that, would she have...
I think I like your idea for a possible episode. I think we should do it, and I think we should call it Ilan of Troyes.
or the Dauphin.
But yeah, so this is good.
I know, why are we up on our fucking high horses about arranged marriages too? All of a sudden,
Well,
Crusher had so many high horses.
I mean,
Oh my god.
I think it's less-
And next week is even worse.
I feel like it's somewhat less the whole Like, I think that the arranged marriage thing would have seemed less bad if they hadn't been keeping her secretly in a pod.
And then once she was discovered, said, "Don't leave quarters."
Yeah, like, they made it weird.
Yeah,
That was
they
for
whatever
everyone
cho-
else's protection.
Well,
Yeah,
though.
but
also the
isn't
pod
that up
thing
to-
was there was a timeline. She only had so much time to
Yeah, but
make.
still, they were
thing.
very shady about it. And then fucking Jean-Luc hiding behind the Prime Directive again. It's like, look, Johnny, I get
Johnny.
that, yes, Johnny.
En français.
Oh.
Dead language. It's a dead language.
I get
That's
that,
right,
like,
sorry.
telling them they can't do this would violate the Prime Directive, but you could totally be like, but Starfleet and the Federation ain't gonna be a party to this weird bullshit. We're turning around. You get yourself a different ride. But
Why
whatever.
wouldn't they be part of the weird bullshit?
Because it looked like human trafficking, which the
They've
Federation
done that
didn't
many
show.
times.
I mean, that's the thing. They're not supposed to get part of the bullshit, but they're always part of the bullshit.
Yeah.
That's part of the plot.
Yeah, until they're, they want to cower behind the Prime Directive. But,
And how Troy was in an arranged marriage.
That's true.
but she wasn't human trafficked.
Yeah.
That's the issue, is the
they
human
came,
trafficking.
They came to her. That was fine.
Yeah, again, I don't think it's so much the arranged marriage as it is the human trafficking and raised to be a sex slave, essentially.
Well, she calls her like a prostitute. I'm like, I
That's a
see
bit
what
much.
you're saying, but not quite.
So anyway, my whole thing is like, rather than being about her and her plight, like even at the end, it's like, it's not sad that she's never going to be happy.
I hated her. I wanted her to be miserable.
oh, I liked her.
So the
But
story
also, she
maybe
will be happy. That's the whole point.
Well, no, except
no, she won't, because she
she's
imprints on
imprinted on
Jean-Luc
Picard.
before she leaves.
so she's for Jean-Luc now.
Jake,
must
did
have-
you,
I must
did
have-
you fall asleep before the end of the
I
episode?
must have missed that part.
Pull a Caitlin.
He was busy fapping because Famke
Janssen.
Janssen is so hot.
Dude,
I
she
know,
was
she
hot,
imprinted
right?
on Picard? I didn't get that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she said
she
that
said
at the
that.
end.
The very
I
end.
didn't. To be fair, the first time I watched it, I was also lulled into a drowse. It was the second time I watched it that I caught it.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
You watched it twice?
Okay, because he was a late addition. He had seen every episode except that one, so we plopped
you
that
had, you had to
sucker
circle
on.
back around.
But yes, no, at the very
Had
end,
to
she's
circle
like,
jerk around, exactly.
I mean, it's appropriate for the episode.
I'll never be happy, I've imprinted on you. But the thing is, rather than being sad that she's now going to be sad, the story wants us to be sad that,
Jean-Luc is going to be sad.
yeah, and it's like, no, that's the wrong person to be focusing on. Jesus Christ. This episode is so
Well, it
sexist.
wasn't her fault that she had so many smells.
Yeah, it was the writers of this episode's fault.
Yeah, no,
They wrote a bad idea.
A terrible,
Basically,
terrible,
is basically
terrible
what happened.
episode.
Like it was really, really hard for me to sympathize with her, even though, yes, she was human trafficked. Yes, she was basically
We're
forced
gonna
to...
find out. I'm gonna find out who wrote this episode.
Yeah, have fun.
An asshole.
Yeah, some
oh no,
dick face.
I wrote down who wrote this episode because they used a pseudonym in protest against rewrites.
Oh.
They used a pseudonym, because they didn't want anyone to know who the fuck
The question
wrote
is, did the
they wrote
rewrites
this
make it
piece of
better
shit.
or worse?
Yes.
Who knows? But no, well, I had trouble sympathizing with her because, as you see
No,
her...
it's Rene Echevarria. He's a normal.
Well, we know that
Oh,
now.
and Gary Percanti.
Yeah, that's the pseudonym.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
pseudonym for
Another writer. Not so.
A friend,
Renee was okay
a friend
with
of
this.
Michael Piller, who apparently was not happy at all.
Oh, well.
But anyway, as I keep trying to start saying and keep getting lost in who wrote this episode, as she's parading around the ship and making googly eyes at every single man she sees, as if she doesn't realize that, there's one man that she's supposed to imprint on, and she should probably not be making googly eyes at every single man she sees, or putting her tongue down Riker's throat, or her hand down Jean-Luc's pants.
He wears like one piece, not pants.
Like, it made me really question,
No,
what
he
on
wears pants
earth
now.
is her role?
Like a sweater.
I don't understand her role.
Well, and again, that's the problem. It's like, you don't sympathize with her in part because it's written so badly. Because
Mm-hmm.
the writers, again, didn't understand that she was their focus.
Wait, but it sounds like she didn't have any choice but to start doing that as long as someone was interested. It sounds like her natural body's reaction.
She knows she is for Chancellor Ulrich.
Yeah, but
So-
I feel like I would do the same way. She's got a stay of execution. She's got 3 days in which to plow her way through the starship until she's stuck with this fucking guy who she doesn't even get to kick the tires on first. I would absolutely fuck my way through that ship if I was her.
But
I feel like that's not part of the peace treaty agreement.
No, but honestly, I think it's got to be some genetic thing where she's even got the pheromones. The men are attracted. She's got to have some other biological something.
Yeah, it's basically it is Alana Troyes again because her this was a TOS episode and her tears made you fall in love with her. Unless you're Kirk and you're in love with your ship.
Oh God, yeah, that episode was that the one where he's like threatened to spank her or something?
Oh
was
yeah,
that
there was
episode?
a spanking.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot.
Also,
about that.
her necklace of worthless rocks turns out to be dilithium that saves the day.
Yeah,
Well,
that was a weird episode.
that was like what I couldn't stop thinking about that episode during this episode because it's like that's just
Yeah, I was thinking of the Dolphin, but yeah, that's another good point.
So I should mention not the pseudonym guy but the other
Echeverria?
Echeverria. He gets better. He writes some on DS9, and he gets better in this show as well. But his previous writing credits on TNG were The Offspring.
Oh God, which is Data's kid.
Daughter. Transfigurations.
Nope.
Which was
John Doe.
Oh God, that episode sucked.
Wait, which
and
was
The Mind's Eye.
Transfigurations?
The John Doe guy
Which isn't
who
bad.
wakes up with no memory, but then falls in love with Crusher.
He turns into a yellow spandex suit at the end.
We did not like the episode. It was,
Which one's the Mind's Eye?
That's when Geordi.
Oh, I like The Mind's Eye.
Gets brainwashed. The Manchurian.
Oh yeah, that is a good
That
one.
one
that
wasn't
was
bad.
a good one. Well,
Yeah.
even a broken clock, etc.
Twice a day.
Yeah.
So this also was an episode of it was a plethora of guest people. Because I looked up, because obviously there was Max Grodenchik, future Nog.
Yep. Another
Basically,
Ferengi. I
just-
don't know who's worse.
Well,
him
there's
or
only
Rom.
there's only so many people who are
The right height.
4'3".
Yeah,
No, he is Grodenchik is wrong.
I mean Rom.
Yes.
Sorry, I
what
wrote
did you
Nog
say?
in my notes.
Oh, yeah. Jake thought Nog was in this one, but he
Well,
wasn't.
yeah, the other guy
Sounds kinda
sounded
like
like
him,
it,
but
but he was too tall.
So you know who he was? He was. I mean, he's been a couple of people in Star Trek, but at this point, probably most memorable to us as crewman Dax from Star Trek VI.
Oh, that's nice.
If shoe fits.
Well, I definitely don't remember who that is, but yes,
He's the guy
very
with the
memorable.
weird feet.
When Chekhov is like, perhaps you'll remember Russian folk tale Cinderella. And he drops the shoe, and he's got this big alien foot that could never have possibly fit in the shoe.
Shit.
Famke Janssen as a mutant.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
As a
She
mutant
is.
with mind powers,
Yep.
no less.
Yep.
Who somehow
and
was
she's gonna
able
see
to
lots
seduce
more
Professor
Picard.
X.
Yeah, never fucked the teacher.
And Jean Grey probably tried. You're gonna tell me she wouldn't prefer a big, powerful mind like him over fucking Cyclops?
Yeah.
You know
and
what?
the ambassador was
Hey,
played
I'm
by...
still on Famke Janssen here.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. I wish I was.
Oh, I also read she wasn't fully fluent in English at the
Yeah,
time
she
of this
definitely had
episode.
that
Wow.
foreign
Oh,
accent.
that's why she said contrary really weird. Both times I watched this episode, I was like, I hate how she says contrary.
I didn't even notice.
She's super, super pretty.
Yep.
This was
She's
her
Dutch.
second acting role because she was
Wow.
a model. And I think is a fine actress as well.
Yeah, she acted well.
They offered her the role of Jadzia Dax in DS9, and she had to
They
turn
just
it down.
they just stole the makeup
The
from
dots,
this
yeah,
episode.
I was thinking that. So the
Consolation prize.
the ambassador also is Tim O'Connor, who is a recurring
Ambassador,
character,
who was it? Briam?
something like that. But he was a recurring character in the 70s Buck Rogers series.
Which was
Never
awesome.
seen.
And I actually told Chris and maybe also Ames that I've been watching MASH in its entirety, and literally within the last 3 or 4 days there was an episode where he was there playing like a colonel or some shit, and I was like, wow, you just show up everywhere, don't you?
Yeah. So there's a cavalcade of guest stars in this one.
Yeah, so Ambassador Pimp.
Yeah, seriously.
Ambassador.
He was no Harry Mudd. Come on.
I mean,
Harry
the
Mudd would be
Ferengi.
Harry
all-
Mudd does human trafficking like no one
Much
else.
better.
Oh, Jesus. Can you imagine if after the drugs wear off, Famke just becomes Stella? Hardcore! So what I liked, actually, this is definitely the thing I said we should talk about later. So you know how Famke lays one on Riker and then does it again because the second time is so much better. Mm-hmm. He manages not to go along with it by backing up quickly, and then as he's leaving, he's like, holodeck 4.
Yes,
and I was
yes.
like, ooh, he's definitely going to go fuck
Yep.
something or someone in the
Maybe.
holodeck.
I'm surprised that Riker needs the holodeck for that. I feel like he could just...
he was like, I need Minuet for this. This is a big one.
This is a job for Minuet.
No, this is a job for Geordie's.
I was going to say, it's
Leah
actually
Brahms
Leah
program.
Brahms.
ooh.
Oh, actually, there was one thing I liked, two things, I guess, that I kind of liked about this otherwise garbage fire episode.
Famke's dress.
The end credits.
Chaperone Data was cute.
Oh, it was.
But totally incompetent, though.
Oh, completely.
He was like, I'll just go over here. Wait a minute.
The closest we have ever gotten, I think ever will get in the show, to acknowledging cetacean ops.
What'd they say?
When Riker's shuffling the Ferengi away at one point, he says something about showing them the dolphins.
Oh, he did. That's right.
I don't understand. Please explain.
The dolphins would be in cetacean ops.
So there's
what does that mean?
on the blueprints of the Enterprise, there's rooms that are labeled cetacean ops.
Okay.
So the implication being that there's some sort of dolphin tank or whale tank on the ship.
And it's always been sort of a throwaway thing in the blueprints, but this is the closest they've ever come in canon to, like, acknowledging... They have dolphins on the ship, apparently.
Yes. Well, sometimes it could be beluga whales. It could be...
Well, no, he actually does say, have you seen the dolphins?
Yeah, so there could be other things as
so
well.
there is definitely... There are at least dolphins.
But let's talk about these fucking Ferengi for a second. So...
Oh, God.
Why were they even there? Well, I mean, aside from to kill Tim O'Connor.
To start the plot and to kill Tim O'Connor.
Yeah.
But, like... Go on, Jake. I'm sorry.
But,
Max
like,
Grodin
this is
But I might interject, Jake.
Like, why...
You will interject.
Why are you not putting the guard at the door of the Ferengi to start with?
Yeah.
Why do they
No.
have to fuck shit up before you put an eye on them?
Why? Fucking why?
Oh, Chris is getting mad.
Getting
Wasn't
sharp.
the door to the room that Tim O'Connor had been like, this cargo is Soup's precious, please protect it?
Yes.
Why wouldn't it
Yes.
locked? Just fucking lock it. Lock it. Fucking lock a fucking door, Star Trek.
Someone has to have security clearance to get in.
Like,
I
I get that
I'm
you
going to have
need...
the same gripe next up in Imaginary Friends.
Good.
too.
We will
Absolutely.
Oh, no, shit.
But, like,
I'm
I
with you on
get
as well.
I get that occasionally there has to be a bit of a, like, logic slip for a plot. But too many plots from both TOS and TNG so far are just someone didn't lock a fucking door.
Chris, everything that jumpstarts this plot is bullshit.
Yes,
true.
All of it. Because, one, they happen upon this fucking ship that the Ferengi are blowing up. How did they know exactly where they would be? I mean, I understand they knew where they were going. How did they know exactly where they're going to be at what point? Second, why did the stupid little fucker climb on top of a bunch of shit to set this thing?
Because he's
Too
short.
But he
he's
doesn't...
4'3".
It doesn't matter. He doesn't need to be on top of this shit.
He's a scanner. Good point. But even then,
No,
Yeah.
there's no reason for it except that he's gonna fall and his foot will slip and it'll hit this fucking toolbox or whatever it is. So that's fucking stupid. No locks on doors, no fucking post making sure that they're behaving themselves, and it just happens to be a glass table for them to power slam what's his name through.
It's not
You want to tell me?
transparent aluminum.
I was gonna say, do you want to tell me that everything in this ship is not made of transparent aluminum?
No.
Every fucking time there's turbulence, which is fucking every episode, by the way, you're telling me they still use fucking glass? No. Absolutely not. Not since, what's her name?
K'Ehleyr.
Smushed the table and Troy got to be all like, well, someone's in a bad mood. And she got to
Fuck
be,
off, Troy.
yeah,
Really.
fuck Troy.
Who did fuck off this episode?
I have a question on that,
The point
actually.
is, though, is that, well, it was clearly so that what's her name could get a chance to
Empath
suck
better than her did.
because she's like, I'm an empath, and what was going to happen was it was going to set off a fucking I am Groot, I am Groot, I am Groot, I am Groot. I'm an empath, I'm an empath, I'm an empath. And then someone in the back would be like, I'm Spartacus, and then they throw him out of fucking airlock.
The fitting tube.
No, absolutely not. Fuck that shit.
This
Yes,
is the
fitting
best
tube.
rant from Caitlin I've heard.
Yeah, no, I'm going because it's fucking stupid. Like, everything that happens to make this fucking thing happen is dumb. All you had to do was have, I don't know, maybe Clara Sutler, subtle fuckface asshole, whatever her name is, go in there and be like, whoops, and flip a switch. You didn't need all this Ferengi bullshit. We didn't need this.
They're clowns. They're fucking clowns.
Yes, there's absolute fucking... Well, if they were going to make Stooges, they should have sent it to fucking 3, okay? That's all I'm saying. Between 3 and 5.
And why were the Ferengi even allowed to go or like why would they even let the ambassador in to see the Ferengi? Like why do they even have any communication with?
They didn't mean to. The Ferengi just kind of showed up and was like,
he
hey.
showed up. He showed
oh,
up
you
at
mean
the Ferengis.
afterwards?
Yeah, at the end.
Was that in his quarters or their
that
quarters?
was their quarters.
So maybe he sent for them.
They sent for him.
That's what I'm saying.
But why would he go?
Because he's dumb.
Because they sent for him.
Well, because they gave him money and he was all pissed
no,
off.
No. They gave him money when he got there.
So
it's not like they said to someone,
"Hey,
can someone please hand deliver this bribe to Tim O'Connor and see what he says?" Like, that's not what happened. They probably were like, we really want to discuss with you something important. Like, maybe they just wanted to know more about his work.
You could discuss with the Ferengi that is
Well,
remotely important.
Maybe these aren't really like worldly knowledgeable people. Maybe these people don't know that these are space Goombas.
They were. He did come up with the best excuse that he was looking for the barber shop, though, which I found hilarious.
Yeah. Well, with ears like that, they probably have a pretty seriously pesky ear hair situation.
Yeah, I
They
think.
get that.
And it probably
Doesn't
takes a very, 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 very talented person to not accidentally give them the umox while trimming the ear hair. It's important. You don't want Ferengi accidentally ejaculating in your salon, do you? And the answer is no.
Pat, were you trying to say something earlier? Because this has gotten to Ferengi ejaculation. I'd love to change the subject.
I don't
Always
understand how
trying to silence my
they're in
art.
quarters. They should be confined to quarters. There are random Ferengi first.
Yeah.
And then you're walking around and somebody says, oh, bring me to wherever on a turbo lift. Why does some security alert not say, oh my god, there's a Ferengi in the hallway, there's a Ferengi in the...
Wow,
So
I
there
find
should be
that
no
I
Ferengi
find
on the
all
ship.
of this racist.
Well, except they were.
Frankly
Species,
racist.
not racist.
They
Species.
were following around, though, because Worf did go, oh, one of the Ferengi is in the cargo bay. Would have helped you noticed earlier, Lumpy.
I did kind of wonder if that was what the deal was with that, because Picard's like, hey, can you get this fucking Ferengi who's following around the ambassador? And Worf's like, sure, boss, but then he goes to the cargo bay instead. You would think that I was expecting a, like, where is Alexander Koshensky, whatever the fuck his last name is, type of situation, not just like a, yes, I'm going to do exactly that. Oh, wait. I expected there would have to be some kind of search via computer, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Did I mention this episode is stupid and infuriating?
Yeah. It's terrible.
Okay.
Speaking of confined to quarters, another thing that pissed me off is like Picard's
Imaginary
acting
friend.
all surprised that she's confined to quarters. He was there when the ambassador told her to stay in her quarters.
Oh, I see. So both times that I watched it, my assessment was, go wait there for me until I come. Meaning, like, we need to talk before you start whoring it around the wharfs here.
I guess so.
The wharfs.
Ah.
Side question, do we think Worf was into it? Because, I mean...
He growled back.
Oh,
He
yeah.
did
Did you
growl.
see that smile? He doesn't often smile.
No, I missed the growl and the
He did
smile.
growl.
Damn, he growled?
What was with those random...
Is this how a Klingon
The
growls?
miners?
I thought they were miners, too. Did they actually say
I think
they were?
They said they were miners.
They certainly looked grubby fucking like...
But why would they be on the ship?
Excellent
It was
question.
a nod towards women.
No. It was because of the thing that was happening. I think they were all ambassadors.
No, that's what I thought.
They
but
were specifically miners. It was mentioned, and I don't remember.
What the fuck were they doing there then?
I have no idea.
What is this, a fucking space
It's a
station? They just
leader.
let anybody in to fucking come and muck up 10 forward and
Is this like
fuck
the
presents for other people?
Enterprise Greyhound?
People?
Like, really? Going to
Apparently.
ship people
Oh.
all over the galaxy or something?
Other
What do we
people's presents. Riker's line, I don't like to open other men's gifts. You sly bastard.
Yeah, that was terrible. I forgot about
So
that.
disgusting. I was like, ooh, you did manage to be Riker, even though you managed not to be Riker all the way.
But let's get. I mean, like
He didn't give her the old Riker maneuver, but he made sure to, say a little wham bam thank you ma'am on his way out.
Oh, so this also pissed me off.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Literally the whole episode.
Well, yes, but...
yeah.
Everything that happened between start credits and end credits.
Pretty much.
Okay.
More
But
strongly.
she's like, even the walls of Jericho fell. It's like, okay, back the fuck up. I will grant that this woman has had a lot of time to read, so that she knows about Vitovian whatever architecture, and maybe even a little Shakespeare. But no. The fucking Earth Christian Bible...
No, yeah, she
Step
hasn't
too
probably
fucking
read-
far. That was idiotic.
But in that same vein, I loved that Tim O'Connor's character was like, the right ball field, and they had to explain what it meant. I was like, all right, finally someone doesn't get all of the references to Earth. Good for you guys. Very nice.
Yeah, but then she knew the story of Jericho.
Yeah, it's just too much obscurity. I mean, she did mention repeatedly there were always tutors. There were always...
Yeah.
There's only
sex
so much
teachers.
Yeah, that was creepy.
Had to go to sex
creepy.
class.
That was creepy.
Do you think it was just like sex ed that was like, use protection or you'll get
Nope,
the
it
gonorrheas?
was a full on performance piece.
What?
Really?
I don't know.
How did I miss this part? Did they show it? Why didn't I get to see it?
No.
You never had sex class in school?
I wish.
That's an old Monty Python
No, I don't know if I do wish. I take that back. I don't think that's right. I
No,
don't think
that
I
was
do wish. That said, who was teaching it? Data? If it wasn't,
if
if it
it were
wasn't
Data,
Data,
if
she
it were
wasn't
Data, it's
learning
great.
right.
I didn't like her hair at the end. It made me think of the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yes, I can see that. But I loved
Without
her
the
dress,
streak.
and I loved the fabric that the gloves were made of. It looked like it would feel really disgusting to touch, but it was just really shiny and beautiful.
I didn't notice. I was
I
too
loved
like,
it. I loved
red hair. What is happening
everything
with
about
that
her
hair?
wedding gown. It was gorgeous. I loved it. I even loved the fucking big old veil thing. But man, what a waste on this fucking
This
douche
episode was
nozzle.
so bad.
Like, I totally
you mean
understand.
Ronald McDonald?
Yeah. Nailed it. Yes, that's who I meant. And I love that he is so fucking not into it. Like, oh, I'm sure she'll be satisfactory. It's like, dude, do you understand? Literally, this is a woman who is going to become the perfect mate. Have you heard?
Well, except she won't now.
Well, yes, but can you imagine, like, does he even have a pulse? If someone was like, Jake, tomorrow you're going to meet your bride, and she's the perfect mate. I know that you already have everything that you could want in a woman here, but imagine that someone was presenting Ames to you on a plate, and you were just like, yes, I'm frankly more interested in the trade agreements. Perhaps we'll get some
how good are these trade agreements?
Really?
Good enough.
I
it could be
cannot
human trade.
back fight
Yeah.
up.
Good enough that the fucking the dowry of whatever is the perfect fucking woman who's gonna learn exactly how you like all your bits bobbled and your pointy bits suckled at and things.
What the fuck bits of Jake are pointy?
I have a lot of bits.
I don't know, his nipples.
They're
I
all
don't know.
different
His
shapes.
nipples and
Fair enough.
He has
Dodecahedron balls.
is that what you
Oh,
thought?
really?
Wow, fancy. Well, it would take her a little while to figure out how you like that dealt with, but she'd get
It's
it
like
eventually.
a Rubik's Cube.
You're gonna roll.
Oh my god, no, I'm picturing that your balls have to line up all the colors. Why did you do that, Ames?
No, I mean you roll them, and is it the critical hit or not? That's
All right, enough about my balls.
But enough about my balls.
Never
folks.
enough about your balls.
Especially not when this episode is the alternative to talk about.
Seriously. So are we done with
Speaking of piss,
sexism?
let's move
the
on
episode?
to the
'Cause,
imaginary
yeah.
friend.
No, I think isn't that speaking of shit?
yeah.
So
I don't know.
here's what I'm gonna say about this episode. This episode was bad,
Yes.
Uh-huh.
but I think I would have hated it more if it wasn't just on the heels of Perfect Mate.
I don't know.
Like, I think my
Oh,
perception
they're
of it is skewed
I hated it
because of
enough
how much I
regardless.
hated Perfect Mate. Don't get me wrong, it was still
boring.
bad.
I was just bored this whole
Yeah,
time.
it was tedious.
well, and it was
repetitive.
pointless. Like,
It
what
had-
was the point of
It
it?
felt
had
like a first draft.
It had so many children, and I'll even say, as child actors, Clara and Isabella weren't bad.
Yeah,
because
Clara was actually quite good,
Once
I thought.
Alexander shows up, you're like, oh,
No.
right, he's awful.
Oh, that's right. I
You
forgot
two
about
are
it.
fine.
Oh my god, my exact quote when we fucking were like, oh, here's Alexander. I was like, great, you're getting the most annoying girl on board to hang out with the most annoying boy on board. It's a fucking match made in absolute hell, Troy.
but I must
And
say-
you know why she did it? To keep her business up. Because she knows that Alexander is going to be a problem now that he has a new friend. And this fucking crazy bitch Clara also going to be... So she really, what she was doing there was just, whatever, hedging her bets.
As
Oh,
terrible
hi,
as
White
this
Cat.
episode was, I counted a small mercy that Keiko was only mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
When
Okay.
they mentioned Keiko, I was like, oh, this is about to get even
Also,
worse.
here's what I'll give Alexander. He don't know much, but he knows how to make a bitchin' cup.
Really? That cup looked like it would never hold up in the kiln.
And
Oh,
he
it-
spent weeks on that?
It wouldn't...
Weeks, really.
it
Yeah,
wouldn't-
I
that-
know, weeks. I mean,
Here's the thing.
More
Here's the
like
thing.
minutes.
It wouldn't stand up, but it's very Worf. It's big. It's pointy. It's probably
It's
not that
shoddily
functional.
made.
And it'll definitely hold
Lady, you're doing
the
it
blood of
wrong.
your enemies well.
it was.
Yeah.
It's utilitarian. That's all.
But also pointy. Because
Damn you.
And it was really big, like the base was really wide, which I thought, yes, that makes sense for a warrior, that it would have like a really, really thick, like
Hoping.
possibly made of the femurs of your
Yeah, like he
vanquished foes
gets
type of feel
he
to
gets
it.
his father's aesthetic. I'll give him that.
That's respectable. It's respectable.
In many senses, including his really bad haircut.
Yeah. Ugh.
Well.
God.
Really, he's just going to get alcohol problems if he has to drink from that cup.
But if you're drinking the blood of your enemies, that's not alcohol, so you're fine.
The resolution of this episode was dumb. It's like,
Yeah,
we're not evil. You're just seeing us from the view of a child.
We just mistreat our kids. It's fine.
Don't worry, they'll grow up to be poorly adjusted adults just like us, and the cycle will continue forever.
Oh, Ames, you said you had a rant or something about this one.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
give us
really-
the rant, Ames.
I mean, really, it's more of the security problem, to which I think, like, people should need, like, I don't know if their comm badges should actually work as, like, key cards that allow them into
That'd be good.
engineering or 10
Or they could probably
Or
the
they're-
sensors can tell who's approaching.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
Worf. I'll let
there's
him
Worf.
in.
Exactly.
Barrier
The camera
down.
knows where you are all
it's
the
again,
time.
even if the comm badge is enough, where nowadays we have RFID chips on everything. You can walk right nowadays. Let alone like in 24th century, where sensors, where is do a scan, where is whoever? Oh, they're here. So does the computer have not enough computing power? I mean, that's been a theme in more than one episode where
Well, I
it's
just
going to
think
take forever
that-
to process, so.
Well, I also just think, though, that the general approach to physical security and computer security on Star Trek is leave everything open No locks, no passwords. Everything's just available, and it's the honor system.
Yeah, which is great. It's like communist. In theory, it sounds awesome, but in practice, it's some bullshit. At least I think communism sounds good in practice. In theory.
On paper.
On paper. It reminds me of in fucking Jurassic Park when the Aussie guy's like, how many times do I have to tell them to put locks on those doors?
How many times do I have to tell them, stop breeding dinosaurs?
It always ends badly. Okay, this white cat is... I've had enough of this
He
white
just
cat.
Oh, no,
insists
I
on
want that white cat.
Okay, he's so
plucking
bad
at your shirt.
He's really bad at laps, so good luck.
Hi, white cat. Hi, baby boy. Who's a handsome
I
boy?
mean, in general, just don't let the Ferengi on your ship.
Don't let the
Yeah,
Ferengi on your
yeah,
ship.
they're
Stop
racist.
having children on the ship.
Yeah,
They're
no,
the
dead,
worst.
period.
Yeah,
Or just stop having children.
No,
That's
no
true.
families on the ships. That was the worst idea Starfleet ever had.
But a ship like the Enterprise, you have to think, it's a long-term research ship. Oh no! Go on the face.
Jesus Christ.
Do you really want to
That's
separate
really
your
funny because
children?
he almost just took my eye.
Oh, he was just batting at your weird hair.
That's all.
He does love hair. He's a little
But
hair
you really
fiend.
want to separate the children from their families for so very long, because also
As long as
If
we
I, if
have
I
to see it.
may, if you're making the decision to be in Starfleet and you know you're going to be on some long-term missions, maybe you got to make a sacrifice. Maybe you don't have kids. Maybe... Especially in this future, where people live to, like, at least 120 and are probably viable way longer. Like, just fucking have a kid at
debatable.
50.
But viability again becomes a biology thing of the human race, and are we going to actually go that way? But I mean, how large is the Enterprise?
Pretty damn big.
1,000 people.
Yeah,
1,000 people, but how long? You think of
It's
how
like a kilometer long or something.
It's some absurd
it's
number.
absurd. You think there is enough room, but again, it becomes a security thing. Of,
And yet somehow these fucking kids wind up on the bridge
they
all
just
the
randomly
time.
all
wander.
the time. Or in the
And
captain's
especially-
quarters,
again,
leaving their finger traps around.
Yeah, especially at the bridge. Captain's quarters. These things, they're like, this should be a high security anyway.
Yep.
The bridge is like, scan in
Yeah,
something.
or engineering. They walk into engineering. Oh, I'm here because my daddy's here. No,
Wait,
you're
sorry,
here because you're in the wrong fucking place, kid.
Yeah, sorry, I just walked into the warp containment unit, really? Or whatever it is. It's like, how do you...
I wish she'd walk to the containment. She'd
Well, yeah.
vaporize,
Well,
and that
yes,
was the end of the
but
episode.
The point
Also,
is,
might have caused a
All's
breach.
well
Let
that
me give
ends
you a
well.
tour of the Finny tube.
Let me
Oh,
give you a
red
tour of
alert.
the fucking coolant containers.
Why
Ooh,
did we keep
jeez.
going into the scary cloud after it started fucking with the ship?
Because
What?
Geordi wanted to for some reason. Also, why is the chief engineer in charge of scientifically analyzing this cloud? Don't they have,
Data?
Lucius? Throwing that out there.
but again, also, like, then, I mean, data does a lot of,
Yeah,
analysis
science.
too. So it's science engineering, they're pretty closely related. It's reasonable.
It's almost like maybe instead of having a ship's counselor, they should have had a chief science officer.
Whoa.
Oh.
Do you know what I don't understand about this episode?
Anything.
Yeah, exactly. But, holy shit, my thought just really left my head. Never mind. Let me try to find it again.
Awesome.
Alright.
While you do that, I have an anecdote.
Okay, anecdote.
We open with Clara in therapy with Troy, explaining how she likes her eggs.
Yeah.
And she likes her eggs with grape juice.
Yeah, she likes purple omelets. Yeah.
Purple omelets.
But Isabella doesn't.
Isabella has taste. But my grandmother was possibly a little senile at the time. But we went to a place where she ordered an omelet, and she ordered a blueberry omelet, and the waiter had to ask her like 3 times, you want blueberries on the side of your omelet? She says, no, I want the blueberries in the omelet. Like several times, confirming like, how does this work with
I could see that being good if you put
Eggs.
it with like with goat cheese or something.
No, it was just American cheese.
No, that's just
And
no.
she gets the omelet and she eats it as if it's the most delicious thing. My mother and I are sitting agog watching this happen. And the waiter comes over and she offers him a bite.
Did he do it?
No.
Oh.
Good God, no.
Because who would want to eat that? It sounds horrible.
I would try it just for shits and giggles. Shit,
That's
something
weird.
about that story made me remember what I wanted to ask.
Grape omelet.
I don't understand why she didn't tell anybody why Clara didn't tell anybody when the way she saw Isabel changed.
Because who would have believed her?
I mean, nobody, but...
Although I guess she could have said Mr. Worf saw her that time.
Well, yeah, that's it too, like...
That is
Or
there is that.
any cameras anywhere on the ship would have picked her up.
They don't have cameras, Ames. That's assuming they have security.
But they have sensors, but because
She can probably cloak herself. Or
That's the
something.
thing. She's not an actual humans. It's an energy being, so it wouldn't show up as an extra human on the crew or any of those.
No, but they had crouton
No, that's next
finders
week.
in the next week.
That's
I
right.
know, but
But it's not
the point
something
is
they're
they can
normally
sense
looking
everything
for.
else. You're telling me they can't...
But it's not something they're regularly scanning for. It's just because why waste the computing power if we don't have to? Kind of theory. Which is, again, how does their computers not have enough computing power to do all these things?
Yeah,
It's going to take 3 weeks to do this sensor sweep.
No.
Or whatever
That's
it
just
is.
what Scotty would say. He would say that so he sounded amazing when it actually took 2 minutes.
But Jordy
It's the
has
Scotty
said similar.
method.
It's going to take 3 hours to analyze this.
Well,
or
clearly
whatever.
he learned from the best.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll learn. My initial assessment of Isabella actually was not that she had resting bitch face. According to my notes, she has resting serial killer face.
Oh, yeah.
That seems
Yeah, pretty
correct.
close. Pretty close.
Like, seriously, I'm almost
mean-
afraid to look up the actress to see if what happened, if like one day she really did just
What does
murder
her face look like now?
But then
That's
the
what I thought he
eyes
meant
was
too. She's got blonde hair and blue eyes that look like they want to kill you immediately.
And pierced ears, but when we actually see her, she doesn't have pierced ears.
No, I didn't notice
Yeah,
that.
Jake noticed. That was the first thing Jake
Oh,
noticed.
That's a good grab because
Yeah.
she specifically mentions the pierced ears. Why did Clara not notice this strange change in her friend?
Because Clara's a bad friend.
Well, I mean, obviously. That's why she has no friends. Just kidding.
Let's see. Who was in this
Oh,
episode?
I wrote down, another light being. Well, Troy's obviously going to get pregnant again.
So, no.
I wonder if
God.
they're the same beings.
Then there would have been another fucking child floating
They
around.
seem so similar. I mean, between the child, where we had this being come into existence on the ship to like check things out and be a light being, and something like I was thinking about like Nagilum, who checked things
The
out
big-headed
by
face?
yeah, the
Space?
space face.
Space face.
And also, I was thinking a lot of the bonding with, I think, Jeremy Astor, and how a being pretended to be his mom so that he'd have someone to talk to. And it's the same fucking thing. It's just a mashup of various ideas we've seen before of, a strange alien who doesn't know about us wants to learn more about us by pretending to be us on the ship.
But that's been a theme through however many episodes through, and it perpetuates itself. And I think that's because the writers are just like, this sort of worked before, let's tweak it and try again because we don't know what to write about.
They throw like those sex dice, but instead of being sex dice, they have like plot points.
Oh,
So
dilithium
here's her
crystals.
headshot.
Yeah, so actually, I just looked her up. She was semi-recurring character on Third Rock from the Sun. She was Tommy's girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
She's pretty.
Not so much serial killer anymore.
Yeah, no. She lost the dead look in her eyes.
Now she just looks like
Well,
she
I have
can't
a
close her
feeling
mouth
I have a
properly.
feeling
Like
they told her
the white
to.
canary.
I have a feeling they told her to act in that way.
No, I know, but it's so rare that children can actually
To
take
kill a few
direction.
people so that she'd be able to make that face when it came time for filming.
Well, I mean, it is rare that children take direction, so I imagine the ones that can take direction get the parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't TOS anymore, you understand. No, I thought she was good. And I liked at the end when she actually gave like a legit smile. That was kind of nice. That was basically it for me. Those were all the good parts of that episode. And even then, good is kind of a stretch. Like,
Troy got a chocolate.
yeah, but she didn't enjoy it.
Oh, wait, yeah, her hot chocolate got
She
spilled.
got like a sip and it got knocked over.
And then she went and got an ice cream, and she didn't even eat any of it because she was too forlorn.
Yeah, Guinan was like, "What's wrong with your chocolate?
With your
I can only
face.
assume there's something
Oh.
wrong with you if you don't like the cake."
Yeah, it's like
That's more of Guinan being a better therapist than Troy.
Well, that's
Which is
exactly what I
which
said.
is a theme
It's
of
so
all the things.
it's so true.
You know, Guinan is way better, but she is a bartender after all.
I loved the talk about her Tarkasian razor beast imaginary friend, which was really cool.
yeah.
She truly is.
She
such a-
fell asleep on it like Totoro.
Yeah, I was thinking Totoro as well.
Of course you were.
Big, evil-looking Totoro.
yeah.
What were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying, Guinan is just because like Troy is always sugarcoating things. Like, oh no. Guinan is like, no, this is what it is.
Well,
but in doing that, she's such a better therapist and.
Well, Troy doesn't just sugarcoat. She's also just horrendous at her job.
Yeah, she's just
Well, yeah,
bad.
she's,
It's like, yes, let's let this boy continue to think he's an android. That won't end poorly.
I mean, it eventually worked.
Not because it should have, though.
no.
Not because it should have.
Despite that, it
Yeah,
worked.
really. Like, despite Troy's therapy in the biggest scare quotes in history.
Yeah, you know what, Worf? Why don't you and your little kid go
Make a
write a contract? Yeah.
Really.
Go do that. And when you're done with that a month from now,
they
if you
could've
both
had-
survived, you can come back here and we'll talk it over some more.
They could have had Marina as a regular character, as the ship's science officer, as a competent person.
She could still be an empath for all
And
they
she
care.
could still be an empath. And she could still be, because that would kind of do like the Spock thing, because he has some psychic powers.
But in a way, sort of opposite, though. Spock suppresses all his emotions. She gathers everyone.
But they both have, like,
Maybe in that role,
Yeah.
shit.
But I mean, they've been an interesting counterpoint. And
Maybe in that role, she'll actually be able to sense feelings once in a while.
And then, like, for all the times that her therapizing is a plot point, they could just have a recurring character as the ship's counselor, perhaps played by Whoopi,
Or just do what they did in the original and just Bev is also chief.
No.
No.
See, I have
Maybe
to
not.
object to
No.
that
Yeah,
now because
no.
I fucking hate her so much.
No, I mean,
Who, Bev?
Yeah, no, I hate her.
Hate Bev?
Yeah, I
now?
officially hate her. We'll get to it.
no, I think it would be
Next
definitely
week,
a recurring
I'm sure
thing.
we'll talk
Oh,
Similar
yeah,
to-
next week, Bev.
To MASH, like we were discussing before we started recording, Sidney Freeman.
I was thinking of Sydney.
The psychiatrist who pops in once in a while. And, hey, here. But not in every episode.
Could have been Alan Alda. He'd have been great.
I like Alan
Yeah, but then he
Alda.
would have wanted to, like, direct everything. It would have been really preachy. Let's leave Alan
It's already
Alda.
pretty preachy in Star Trek.
Yeah, but
fairly
but have
often.
you seen MASH?
Okay, Jamie Farr then.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
no.
I love Klinger.
No,
He's actually kind of cute.
Sure. Some of us haven't been binging MASH so much. No, I think like a Guinan role like that would be great. I know she was also written into the script just days before filming because she just happened to be free, and they're like, "Oh, Whoopi's free.
Great.
We got an episode coming up. Let's write her in."
Whatever episode we put her in, she'll turn out to be the best part of the episode.
Yeah.
So
I love-
Especially
improve the
these
shit
really
show.
shitty episodes.
Was this the episode where she was looking at clouds with Data, or was that another episode?
That was this one.
That was this one? That was
Yeah.
cute.
It was.
Although I didn't get Data being like, it's obviously a bunny rabbit.
Yeah, was that him trying to make a joke?
I think so.
Good
But
for him.
He wasn't even in his arms like this.
That's how you didn't know it was a joke. And that one's clearly a bunny rabbit.
Where's Joe Piscopo when you need him?
Fucking far away, which is where I need him to be.
So many restraining orders.
I'm not sure we have anything left to say about Imaginary Friend.
It was just...
I don't think we've had anything to say for about 10 minutes now.
I don't think we had anything to say about the previous episode either.
The problem, so the previous episode was terrible, and this one felt like a first draft.
Yeah,
I was
See,
not
but it was
impressed.
terrible in a way that was interesting, which this one was not. This one was just boring.
Which one was interesting and which one was boring?
I think Imaginary Friend is boring.
Yeah.
I thought the other one was, like, at least bad enough to make it good for conversation.
Yeah, it was good for conversation, but it was a terrible
Oh yeah, I'm not suggesting it was a good
episode.
episode. I'm just saying.
they made mistakes were made by many people.
Yeah, like
And it's a shame because I did think Famke Janssen. I can't
Famke.
say her goddamn
No,
name.
there's no R, is there?
There's no R.
Famke, yeah,
It's,
you're right.
it's
Famke
or
Janssen.
Famke or something.
Yeah, probably Famke, yeah.
Like, give the woman a better character because she can fucking do it.
Give
Yeah.
any of the women in this show a better
Well,
character.
yeah, that's
Jesus
the real
Give them
Christ.
all. Let them all share Whoopi. How about that?
Oh my.
I wouldn't mind sharing Whoopi.
With the Tarkasian razor beast. Ooh.
Ooh, well.
Yikes.
I mean,
That's why Guinan keeps it around.
Yowza!
Well,
This has
All right.
gone places.
Well-
I mean, if you can give consent.
But yeah, it was a bad week. 2 very bad episodes for different reasons. You know, I mean, of the 2, like, I think the best I can say about Imaginary Friend is that it was ultimately just kind of forgettable. Like, not even so
Yeah.
bad it would wind up on a list of bad episodes.
We'll see.
I don't know. I kind of feel like it was bad enough to be on a list of bad episodes.
See, like I said, compared to Perfect Mate for me, that was just...
I clearly
See,
don't
the
quite
thing is,
hate The Perfect Mate
I
as much
think-
as you do.
I
I
despised it.
think the ending of The Perfect Mate is more interesting because the whole, like, you know, I have to go live with this man who will never love me, and I'm in love with Picard because I've imprinted on him. This is how life is a unending, which is kind of interesting.
Well, like I said,
in
though,
fucking Imaginary Friend,
it just stops.
you just said, oh, you had the unique perspective of seeing things through a child's eyes, which is the stupidest perspective.
Yeah, the worst.
So now that you know that, we're forgiven, and that's it. And then
Yeah.
you leave.
I mean, at least
you
Perfect...
forgive us immediately and leave.
Oh, that's
and
fine. Then
Perfect Mate
smile.
sort of leaves it open in theory later in seasons of, oh, Picard's back in this, neck of the galaxy. Let's, whatever, something.
Oh,
You know,
to
in
bone
theory.
down with
Check
the,
in on
the
the
girl.
Check in.
That
How are you?
happened.
Oh, well. I mean, you never would, but in theory, at least it leaves it open-ended versus it just...
It leaves it open for those
nothing.
of us who would like to write that fanfic.
I mean, again, my problem with it is that the episode wants us to be sad for Picard, and he's not the one we should be sad for.
Yeah.
I'm sad for Crusher. Because their tea was really awkward in his quarters.
Oh yeah, just like with Riker and Troy, the writers cannot decide what their status is. It fucking drives me crazy.
There was a line where I think Picard says, "I'd like to take the uniform off for a minute," and Crusher's eyebrows go up like, "Oh."
That's what my note meant. I had a note, which I didn't get anymore.
What was the note?
It was, damn it, John Luke, I thought you meant literally. And that's what that was in reference to. Thank you.
Well, on that note, I think we said all there is to say and more about this shit show. So I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
Call it a shit show?
And the winner is nobody.
Yeah, none of us.
We all
Literally
lose.
none of us, yeah.
Everybody
Go
lost
watch
this
Alana
week.
Troyes.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Not
It was
great.
a better representation for women. I'll give her that.
She was a massive bitch, but...
That's perfect. So am I.
But see, she demanded her way in the 60s, which was very forward-thinking for the 60s.
She ate with her hands. She drank from the bottle. She bitch-slapped Kirk around.
Oh my god, Worf would have had a huge double for her.
Double.
Thump, thump.
A double! Oh, no.
Sorry, go on, Jake.
Double.
Toilet trouble.
Animal style. Anyway.
Well,
You and me, baby, ain't nothing but Klingons.
Oh, Jesus.
Nothing rhymes with Klingons.
Uh,
Guess you'd slant rhyme with big dongs.
okay. So, that's it for this week, folks. And next week, on our show, we will be talking about 2 different episodes of
Not
Star
the
Trek.
same ones we just did.
Thank
Yes.
God.
That's
That'd be
good.
a
Can you
terrible
imagine
podcast.
if we had to do more about these episodes that we already haven't fucking talked about at all?
So next week we'll be talking about 2 new episodes, Brog, and The Next Phase. Borg, Next Phase. Borg, Next Phase. Those are coming up.
What are they again?
Borg and The Next Phase.
All right.
So those will be coming up next time on our show. Until then, you can find out more about this podcast by looking us up on the internet. On Facebook.com, if you're a member, search for Star to Steer. Star to Steer
I'm sure
by.
any amalgamation of those words will eventually get to us.
Jesus.
who knows?
You'll find us on the line.
Yeah, you have to sort through a bunch of ice cream places.
Get us
first.
on the line at Facebook. Also on Twitter and Trumber too. SSHB Podcast is the name. We also have a webpage at startosteerherby.com.
Oh, you got that one right.
That's not it.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Oh, you're right. It's SSHBpodcast.com.
HBpodcast.com.
Shabba
That's what I
podcast.
said.
That is what you said. I heard you say it.
So find us on there, and you can download the podcast as always on iTunes.
Iborg.
Google Tunes.
iTunes. Tunes.
Google Borgs.
And
Borg Tunes.
find us on Google and other podcast places, and our home on the web at SoundCloud.com.
SoundCloud.
Search our name and you will find us.
Home on the web.
There you go. So that's about it, folks. I think we covered it all. And until next time, my name has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
And I'm Pal.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
Speaking of balls, you know they make underwear now that have like a little pouch so you can keep your cock separate from your
Balls.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't,
Here.
that's not a problem.
I have seen them,
Yeah,
and it's weird.
It
because-
sounds. I mean, frankly, I just think it sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah, I
Gotta
don't.
be.
I don't
Gotta be.
think.
Now here. Oh, okay.
It's like toe socks
Here's
for
a
your
debate
schlong.
that I've had with
Toe
people.
socks for your
Okay.
schlong.
Do you use the hole in the underwear, or do you go over the top?
Oh
If-
no!
if
No
I'm-
fly zone.
I mean, if I'm.
Larry,
If I'm
Larry,
Well, that
David.
came up with the as well with the
Because I had this conversation with people, and I always use the hole. It never even occurred to me to go over the
Yeah,
top.
no,
Let me offer you the opinion that maybe there is a privilege of size where the hole is good and the hole is not good.
No, I'm
So you're saying I'm too small to go
No,
over the
I'm
top?
saying you're. No, I'm saying you're big enough to make the whole word.
Oh, why, thank you.
But thanks for. Oh no, big enough to make the whole
No,
word.
certainly.
James, I'm so sorry.
If I-
I've heard worse.
If I'm not pulling my pants down, yeah, no, I'm using the slut.
Yeah.
What the fuck else do they think it's there for?
Wait,
Fuck.
wait,
I don't know!
Wait. Are you saying that you don't pull your pants down to pee either, so you just unzip the fly and pull
That's
your
the whole
Fly
point!
down.
through the fly and the whole
Yes! That's how it works!
Do you know how fucked we're getting on this deal?
Yes.
The pants have to come down no matter fucking what.
Oh, we
I
Yes.
don't have to undo my belt if I'm not shitting.
This is I fucking quit this podcast. Something has to be done about this.
Just bring a shiwi
I'm
everywhere.
peeing right now, it's so easy!
That's what that smell is.
Oh, yeah. That's,
Why
I
are we
can,
on
I
this
can feel it.
But
That's,
we just had the discussion of, the uniforms.
Yeah.
You never see a fly. What's going on
I
there?
think they're all... They're pulling down.
They're
They're
I think they have to pull down.
No,
yeah.
they have a transporter in their.
That's what I'm
That's
wondering.
awesome.
It's like,
No, it's not. So I
well,
always
except
thought,
for Riker, who definitely put a fly in so we could get his
So I
quickies
thought
in.
for the longest time it was a jumpsuit. It's only a jumpsuit the first 2 seasons.
Yeah,
it
this
does
season-
transition to an
It's a
actual
sweater.
It's like a coat.
But it still looks
But-
like everybody else is wearing the full uniform. Like Riker definitely is wearing.
No,
the
it's
one-
still
It's still
2 pieces.
It's just a
How
very
did they
good
manage
scene.
to make? I was gonna say, how did they manage
It's all
to
the
make it
same
look so
colors, so it
seamless?
blurs
No,
together.
if you
I
look
don't know.
closely,
I guess
like
we're-
you'll see there's like an elastic around the waist.
Really?
It's not even that, actually. So I've seen photos. What it actually is, they're basically marching band pants.
Oh,
They're very high-waisted, and they've got suspenders built in.
Oh.
Like, I've seen a behind-the-scenes photo. It's of Frakes and Spiner, like, just chilling backstage one day.
with no shirts on.
So they've got their undershirts,
How do
but
we
their
get to
jackets
this?
are off. So they've got the really high-waisted trousers. They've got suspenders. They've just got t-shirts on.
Well, nothing turns me on like a man in a wife beater and some high-waisted suspenders.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know what
Right.
they're supposed to be in universe, but in the real world, yeah, pissing in those is a pain in the ass.
Well,
you
that's
gotta,
what- because
you
again-
have to take the jacket off, then you have to remove the trousers.
Well, that's the thing, because even with the jacket, if the jacket goes low enough, if it's
Yeah.
blocking,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's why those
Does
the
your
scants,
thing hang
the
low?
scants
In
were
this
the
case,
best. You just pulled them up.
Bring back the scant.
No,
I think,
most of the men they put in them
I'm
didn't
gonna
have the
guess
legs for
that
them.
in the future, everyone's a sitter. Everyone sits. I'm thinking.
but you've still got to.
You still got to take those pants
The
off.
thing
though.
is, you still have suspenders. So then you have to undo the suspenders to take the pants off.
Well, in that case, maybe you
Suspenders are
just
more
hope
pain
your
in the
dick
ass.
is long enough
I'll
to
tell you
slide
the
out
dark
of the
side
pants.
of the standing up.
You get piss on your pants.
You get piss
basically
everywhere.
all the time.
Well,
Like literally
I
everywhere.
mean, I just spin in a circle when I'm
It's just
using
like
the
it's
slot.
just
I mean,
like a it's a fucking
No!
Pollock painting in there, you know.
It's a Pollock painting.
It's just, you know.
so I'm
Actually, no. My place of work. Oh,
You're
my
like it's
God.
more of a Rothko.
There are some. I don't know what is wrong with some of the men that I work with, but there is urine everywhere.
oh, it
Jesus.
You go to the bathroom and there are frequently, like, I can understand a few dots of urine. There are oftentimes fully wet puddles at
Well,
the base of all the urinals.
That's because Chris is showing up, helicoptering his dick around in
No,
your
I'm not
place of
helicoptering my
business.
dick. I'm
There-
spinning in place.
This
Oh.
week,
Well,
I
you
was
would
working,
save energy
so,
if you just
so to our
helicoptered your
listeners,
dick,
we're
frankly.
recording this on the week between Christmas and New Year. So there's not a lot going on in the office. And there's probably about 20 people
So people have been
in
going
total.
around pissing
But
all
yet,
over the
yet
seats.
somehow there's still piss all over the bathroom. So somebody who is very dedicated to their job is not very dedicated to clean urination.
Is their job to piss on the base of the toilets? Because if so, no harm, no foul.
But at least if everyone becomes a sinner in the 24th century, it's
Again,
harder
though,
to blame.
that's also a size privilege. I
But he-
think.
but he-
I think if you. I think that there is a must be at least this tall to ride type of rule to sitting to piss. I just don't.
No.
I don't think that's in everyone's sport.
But here's the thing: there's also a problem. Depending on toilet, you can have contact, and no one wants that.
Yeah.
No one wants contact with the toilet
Jake,
bowl.
I'm learning so much more about how big your dick is.
Just
right
saying.
now.
Well,
And
he
I
also
am-
might just have
I
really
am
saggy
super
balls.
uncomfortable.
Okay, there's
Oh
some-
no, is that what it is? You got long balls? Is that the problem?
Ooh. Another sprint.
Just thinking of Bob in the
Yeah.
in the slops like,
No.
woo, woo, woo.
But the real problem becomes all the other species.
Yeah.
What if Worf? Or
Two.
the Ferengi? Really, that's what we're saying. I mean,
Does that mean he
how
has 4 long balls?
How many different how can you make a universal toilet?
You don't.
You don't. The
Can't
thing
have
is,
it.
how does this work out? Again, those Ferengi or other species, they could be all different.
Now, what about that species that keeps their genitals in their knee? Is that also where they keep their pee hole?
We don't know.
You stand up to the urinal and kick your knee up in the air and go? What's going on there?
Yeah.
It's, universal design is, the answer to all this.
That's why they don't show the toilets at all in Star Trek, because they don't.
Our
Modern designers can't imagine it, so they're just going to leave it up to the viewers.
Really?
It's like a Cthulhu
I
thing.
think in this way, actually,
I think you just piss and shit in the shower. That's what it is.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it just gets removed by the
it's
robot.
a Sonic
oh,
show,
that's
right?
disgusting.
Or again, is it the...
You just
walk
waffle stomp.
Walk in the bathroom, there's a little mini transporter that just transports everything right down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Well, I was gonna say that's what I was just gonna say though. All these questions about different genitalia and how do the toilets work. That is like the biggest, the largest piece of evidence we've found so far for the fact that they probably just
You also have
transport all that. But that's too bad, because then you lose that pure simple human joy of having a piss or a poop after you've really had to for a while.
But then also you have to remember with the replicators, you're not generating more mass. So all of that is going right back into the system.
Oh yeah,
replicate.
we've definitely already
I
talked
know
about
it's been
all the
discussed,
shit
but
that gets eaten on the show probably.
So are we done with
Speaking of piss,
sexism?
let's move
the
on
episode?
to
'Cause,
imaginary.
Yeah.